In the last lecture on Chandrayaan 3, we have discussed that ISRO is going to launch Chandrayaan 3 this month. And we had also discussed that what are the reasons for Chandrayaan 2 failure. Hello everyone, welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Ritu and today we are going to discuss an important topic, and the title of today's topic is Chandrayaan 3, why ISRO wants to explore the moon's south pole. And this topic is important from GS 3 perspective. Before moving to the points of discussion, first of all, we will discuss previous day practice question, and your question was regarding precipitation. And in this question, only one statement is correct. This is chemical reaction. So, your answer would be only one, hence A option. Moving to the points of discussion, first of all, we will discuss the news. Then, why hasn't any spacecraft ever landed near the lunar south pole? Then, why do scientists want to explore the lunar south pole? Then, why don't some parts of the lunar polar regions receive any sunlight? And then, practice question for prelims and mains. Here you have to be very careful because through this information we are able to approach the mains answer. Moving to the news part. So, on 14th of July, we all know that ISRO is going to launch Chandrayaan 3 by Sriharikota at Andhra Pradesh Space Station. And according to ISRO, there will be one Pragyan and one Vikram. So, Vikram is a lander and Pragyan is a rover. And they will land near the moon by 23 of August, means after 1 month of its launch. So, this is the official statement by the ISRO. And ISRO has also said that, the landing of the Chandrayaan 3 is nearly the Chandrayaan 2. So, whatever we have decided in Chandrayaan 2, so the landing would be the same and it is the same space. And if it's soft landed on the moon, then it will be the world's first mission to soft land near the lunar south pole. So, this is the news. Moving to the next slide. Why hasn't any spacecraft ever landed near the lunar south pole? So, first of all, we will discuss about the equatorial region. So why there are so many spacecraft landed there but not to the polar region. So the equatorial region is very hospitable and conducive because sunlight reaches there, and because of the availability of the sunlight, so many solar powered instruments could run there and operate there. So this is the main factor, and other reason is that there is a less hilly area, there is a less crater there, and all these areas are very conducive to land anything. So these are the regions, that's why equatorial region is very comfortable and conducive. So why polar regions are difficult? So these are the regions because they are very different and difficult terrain it has, and many parts are lying completely dark region, and the temperature also reaches near 230 degrees Celsius, which is very extremely cold, and because of the lack of sunlight and extreme cold weather, the spacecraft could not land there. And in addition, there are so many craters also available there, and these all craters create obstruction in landing of any spacecraft. So these are the regions. Moving to the next slide. Why do scientists want to explore the lunar south pole? So the first reason is presence of the ice molecules in substantial amounts, and we all know that in 2008 Chandrayaan 1 has been sent by the ISRO, and because of that expedition we got to know that there is a water on the moon. So these are the experiments which scientists want to do for the new information, and the other reasons are because of the extremely cold temperature and lack of sunlight, the area remains frozen, and which is very hospitable and conducive for any scientist to know about that why this area is totally frozen and is there any changes in that area or not. And on the other hand, the rocks and the soil in moon's north and south poles give information about the earlier solar system because the area remains unchanged and completely in a frozen state. So this will be very helpful for the scientists to know about the early solar system. Moving to the next slide, which is why don't some parts of the lunar polar regions receive any sunlight? So first of all, we will know that unlike Earth, whose spin axis is 23.5 degree. So Earth is tilted towards 23.5 degree, but the moon's axis tilts only 1.5 degree. So because of that, there is no sunlight and the area is completely dark and completely cold also. So because of the no sunlight, many of the craters never shines and the floors of the craters never shines, and because of that it's very difficult for the scientists and space agency to land the spacecraft there. So, and because of the complete shadow, because of the complete dark and complete frozen, this area is called permanently shadowed regions. So, moving to the question part. Practice question for prelims. Consider the following statement regarding moon. Your first statement is, it is the only natural satellite of the earth. Moon has a breathable atmosphere. The earth and moon are tidally locked. Here they want to ask you correct statement. Your options are only 1, only 2, only 3, none. Moving to the next slide. This is practice question for mains. Your mains question is, ISRO's role has been impeccable in making India a global space power. However, there are many challenges and opportunities in the new space age that ISRO needs to address. Examine. So first of all, you have to find the keywords of the question and what is the demand of the question. So the first keyword is ISRO's role, then India's global space power, then challenges and opportunities, and then new age, new space age. So in intro part, you have to highlight the achievement of the ISRO. So INSAT, GSAT, Chandrayaan. So these are the achievement of the ISRO, Gaganyaan. So in intro part, you have to highlight that what we have achieved till now, and then it comes to the main part, which is body of the question. This part is very important. So in this part, first of all, you have to define what is new age. New age is like earlier what we have seen, that only government agencies are contributing to the space world, but right now so many private players are also involved to the space world. So this is called new space age. And then you have to address the challenges and opportunities. So first of all, we will discuss what are the challenges we have. Then lack of fund, astropolitics, space junk, so these are the challenges we have, and then we have to find out what are the opportunities we have. So India is a developing country and it is very developing in space world. So opportunities we have to find out. So at very cheaper rate we can create more things, and Chandrayaan 3 is one of the best example of that. It has been created at a very cheaper cost. So these are the opportunities we have, and we can also synergize with the government initiative, because government has taken very initiative for the digital world, for Startup India, for many defense purpose space agencies. So these are the opportunities we have, and we can be torchbearer for the whole world, that at very cheaper rate and very less workforce, how we can create such big things. So these are the opportunities we have. And in conclusion, you can write that despite of various challenges and various opportunity, we are able to create many space agencies, and we are able to contribute a lot to the space world. And India should aim to contribute 10% of the space economy. So there should be law related to that, and government should take initiative related to that. So I hope you like this lecture. If you have any queries related to this lecture, kindly ask in the comment section, and the PDF of this session is available on Telegram. Thank you.